Greetings everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your host, Captain Rye, and today's YouTube video is a very special battle. The battle that's playing in the background right now is my 4,000th battle on the North American server since stat tracking and battle tracking went live in the open beta all those years ago. And yes, it's been almost 2 full years since the open beta started. Now, 4,000 battles might not seem like that much, considering I know a number of players who have 4,000+ battles who've been playing less time, and many players who've played 6,000 or 7,000 battles, and there are a few people who are extremely prolific who have played up to 8,000 or 9,000 battles. Of course, I play for quality, not for quantity, and I do tend to survive more of my battles than the server average. I do tend to survive longer in more of my battles than the server average, usually lasting about 3/4 of the total battle when I do die, as opposed to dying up front, which does mean that I don't get to drop back to port, pick a different ship, and immediately pop into another battle. And even when I do die, because I've lasted so long, I'm so invested in the outcome of the battle, and I do want to try and help provide support and recommendations for players, assuming they're paying attention, who are left in the game, as well as tactical advice, things like he's beached, switch over to armor piercing, the amount of HP that cruiser had left. If they're not paying attention, there's nothing I can do. But if they are paying attention, it really does help to have that kind of input coming in from a skilled player. So I do tend to stick around to the very end of a battle, and that means up to 20 minutes at a time. The other thing is, of course, I'm not a full-time dedicated gamer, which means I don't get to spend 8 hours a day playing video games. I do have to go to work. That means limited time, and I gotta split that across the board. So I play the few battles that I get to every day, and a few more on the weekends. As the battle gets going underway here, it's two brothers, it's standard battle mode. I have come over to the east side in an effort to defend the east side, and the enemy team has got a couple of ships over here on the east side as well. Most notably, they had one Tier 7 destroyer. They've got a Tier 6 battleship, and they have a Tier 6 cruiser. Now, these are not the only ships that are currently over here. They do, in fact, have a destroyer advantage, having 5 destroyers, but they do have at least 2 destroyers over here, and one which is kind of somewhere at their cap that we will see later. One of the things I've learned after 4,000 battles is knowing when to push the situation. Reading the situation, my team on the west side of the map is not doing particularly well. The enemy team is actually surprisingly pushing them hard, and the team is falling back. But there's so few enemies, and I've got manual secondaries. I can push up on this side of the map and deal with this cruiser, and I can deal with this battleship pretty effectively. And so long as I can avoid taking too many torpedoes from the potential destroyers, and here come the torpedoes now, I should be able to deal with the situation. And since I know that the destroyer that's over here is not particularly stealthy, my manual secondary should be able to take him out. I told my teammates that I'm pushing and I need support. They need to push up with me if this is going to work. And it does look like that they've turned and started to support me. Hit that Aoba for a citadel and cause a lot of damage, and he's very low health, and I'd love to finish him off. I get a set of torpedoes off of the Bayern, and I'm effectively fighting 2 ships at the same time. This is the downside to manual secondaries, is that my secondary guns are not blazing away at both targets. But the targets they are blazing away on are taking a lot more hits. Over 27 just on that Bayern alone. Now I'm turning hard. Here come torpedoes from the Aoba. That was something I was afraid of, but I'm going to turn away and I'm going to miss them completely. Got torpedoes up on the other side for this Bayern, and with any luck, I'm going to hit him with all 3, and yes, I do. That's when that enemy destroyer pops up, and now I've got him flagged for secondaries because I know my secondaries can wreck him. As much as I'd love to continue firing and setting on fire that Bayern, because he did just repair the flooding, I do need to take care of this destroyer quickly, or I'm going to get torpedoed. That Aoba also very low health, and since that destroyer probably has torpedoes out, I decide I'm going to secure the kill on the Aoba because I know I'm going to get hit by torpedoes. And sure enough, I do eat 2. Oh, and that was a lot of damage. But now that destroyer is shit out of luck because my secondary gunners are blazing away. He's well within detection range. And I finish him off with a close quarters. Surprisingly enough, friendly destroyer up there manages to survive his engagement somehow, some way, but with very low health. That Baron on fire in multiple positions, shots not quite quick enough to finish him off and secure a 3rd kill. A little disappointed by that lack of securing that 3rd kill, but that's alright. I did a lot of damage in a very short period of time, and I survived. Now, I do have to deal with a 2nd enemy destroyer has popped up here, the Kamikaze, and this could be a bit of a dangerous situation. The Kamikaze, stealthy destroyer, quick torpedoes, and quick torpedo reload. Unfortunately for me, he disappears behind that island. Very low profile, can't shoot over him. But there's another enemy destroyer, this time the Farragut. Now he's just outside of torpedo range, but he's headed back in my direction. So I fire off a set of torpedoes, and he doesn't seem to be paying attention to the fact that there is a battleship with torpedoes at all, and that he is detected. So I flag him for secondaries while the Kamikaze is behind that island, and my secondary gunners start opening up on him, and they do start causing problems. I get my rear turret onto him, I hold my fire on my forward turrets because I want my torpedoes to kill him, but they don't quite kill him, and the Arizona behind me finishes him off with guns. You bastard! You stole my kill. Fine, it's whatever. You did do a lot of damage to that Baron as well. You helped support me when I needed it, so I'll let you have that consolation prize. Now, I've got about half health. My repairability is almost back up. More torpedoes coming in, again, this time from the Farragut, who, for whatever reason, took forever to figure out that he was being targeted and reacted not at all and sailed right into a torpedo. Kamikaze up there borrowing the Farragut smokescreen that was being laid down. Now, friendly Farragut here, he's very low health, and that Kamikaze can finish him off. And, in fact, that Kamikaze is using his guns and being very smart about it. Nearly kills him outright, and now there are more torpedoes coming in. Fortunately, the Scharnhorst, a very maneuverable, very agile ship, able to torpedo beat that without any issue. This Farragut, though, he is leading the charge. He's only going to get maybe one more shot off before, yes, the Kamikaze takes him out. But the Kamikaze beached himself. He's got nowhere to go. He's in secondary range, he's in main battery range, and my secondary gunners are going to rip into him. Now, I risk this, and I turn wide here to get my rear gun turret on target because I want to kill him before those torpedoes get away, but I'm too late. The torpedoes are out here. I'm going to have to turn hard to avoid eating more than 2 of these, and oh my god! Wow! Not only did I just eat like 3 of those, but they left me with 1,240 health. And yet I'm alive. That was a little bit of a gutsy maneuver on me, but hey, you know what? I've already done a lot of damage, and my team is definitely in the lead here. The enemy team's down to just 2 destroyers, so they no longer have a destroyer advantage. They're just down to 1 battleship and a cruiser left, and we know where all of these ships are, basically, because they're all over on the western side of the map. And even if I had been taken out by this Kamikaze, I've got some backup in the form of some other ships back behind me. Now, I am free and clear to go in and begin capping the enemy base, because there's nothing else that can block me over here. But I do have to be careful. My heal has just become available, and I've just popped it, and I'm not going to have a lot of repair here, because most of that damage was heavy torpedo damage. That means pretty much when my heal is done repairing what little HP I'm going to get back here, that's it. There's no more, even though I'm going to still have 1 repair left. Get shots out there at the enemy destroyer. Do manage to hit him, cause a little bit of damage, not too much. My main fear here is that he's going to turn around and come back after me. Of course, I'm going to be constantly detected anyway, given the detection range of the ship. After 4,000 battles, though, one of the things I've realized is that there are not too many players who are willing to look at the situation and realize that their team has lost, they might as well come in and do as much damage as possible. They might as well delay the inevitable as long as possible. And if I was in that destroyer situation, that's what I would have done. I would have stealthed up, used my concealment, gotten as close as I could to this very low health battleship, and fired off torpedoes, and started opening up with guns, especially with the health that I've got. Because at the very least, I can prevent him from continuing to cap and delay the inevitable. Do a bit more damage, get a bit more HP or XP out of it. Likewise, there are a lot of players who tend to sit back and try and survive with as little damage taken as possible, and that's not how the economy works. But equally, they sit back, they try to take as little damage as possible, and they try to survive, either for kill-to-death ratio or whatever, when in reality, there are certain times when being bold and going forward, your team has already secured victory. You might as well take the risk, take the chance, see what your ship is capable of doing. If you die in the process, you die in the process. But hey, it does make for some pretty epic moments. Plus, you might get some medals you didn't think you were capable of getting, like Die Hard. My team is going to cap out the base, and we are going to win by capping the enemy team. Not too many ships left. For my 4,000th battle, not a bad engagement. 98,000 damage done, 560,000 credits earned at close quarters, and Dreadnought. But of course, it wouldn't be a reasonable Captain Rye video and a good 4,000th battle if I didn't end up top of the team for XP earned. Yes, that's right, up there as expected in the Scharnhorst. Only 2 enemy ships left, both destroyers, and both were hiding at the end. Anyway, that's it for today's special bonus video. If you like the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. If you'd like to get semi-regular channel news and updates, you can do so by liking and following me on Facebook. If you'd like to help support me and my channel, you can do so by becoming my supporter on Patreon. Any support level will grant you access to my World of Warships replays and screenshots early. If you've got a replay like this one that you'd like to see featured on my channel, you can do so by sending it to my email. And if you'd like to watch me play World of Warships live, among other games, usually 10 a.m. Pacific Standard or Pacific Daylight Time on Sundays, for about an hour, hour and a half, you can do so by following me on Twitch. You can find the links for all of those in the video description down below. And as always, I'll see you next time. This is Captain Rye, signing off.